Hi everyone, I'm Katie and welcome to my channel. This is my first video, but I have been wanting to start kind of a booktube channel for a while where I can just talk about books that I like, maybe try some vlogging and things like that. So bear with me. I do not know much about filming or video editing or anything, but I figured to go ahead and jump in and we'll see how it goes. So first of all, forgive the weird sunlight. There's a window way up there that I cannot cover up and it's just beating down on me. So my bad for choosing to film in this part of the day, but oh well. It is the 1st of June. So I thought that it would be great to start the channel off with a monthly TBR. So this is going to be my June TBR, all the books that I want to read in June. And yeah, we'll just get into it. The first book I want to read in June is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And this seems like just a charming book. I've seen it a couple times on BookTube and things like that. And it tells the story of a coffee shop where people can time travel, but only for as long as a cup of coffee stays warm. So I just thought that just sounded like an absolutely fascinating concept. From what I believe, each chapter is kind of like its own short story-ish is what I'm understanding. So we will see if it is, but it sounds just absolutely charming. And I have been really, really looking forward to get to this one. When I bought this one, I also saw that there's like, it's a series and there's a lot more of them, which I didn't know when I picked it up. So we will see if I like it and maybe I'll check out some more of them. Okay, I have scooched over a little bit so that hopefully the lighting is not quite as crazy, but I evidently picked a very bad time of day to film this video. The next book that I want to read in June is one that I am very, very excited about. Sorry, you probably heard that. That was the dog coming to see what on earth I'm talking about. But the next book that I want to read, I am very, very excited about. I'm a little bit behind on it. This one came out last year, but that is Babel or Babel by R.F. Kuang. I have been so excited for this one. I bought it pretty soon after it came out. And I didn't start it immediately because I had heard so many great things about it and I was so hyped for it that I was almost a little bit afraid, like I was a little bit nervous. What if it doesn't live up to the hype? What if I don't like it? So I bought it and kind of put it on the shelf for a while and didn't get to it for quite a while. But I have said I am finally ready to dive in, and as you can see, I've already started a little bit of it. I am on page 100, exactly. So I'm 100 pages in to this book and it is fantastic so far. So many of you probably already have an idea of what this is, but in case you don't, it is kind of a historical fantasy-ish, because there are magical elements. There is an element of magic in it, but I don't think the fantasy is really the main focal point, but it is a fantasy, kind of a dark academia fantasy, I guess you could call it. But in case you don't really know what it's about, it is set in the 1800s. The little blurb starts off, says 1828. And there is our main character, Robin, is a boy from China, and he is brought over to England by kind of like a mysterious benefactor, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting so far. And this boy grows up till he's college aged, and then he goes to Oxford University and is part of the translation department, like the translation college in Oxford. It is very, very good so far. I am only, like I said, I'm 100 pages in, but it's a very long book, so it's not very far so far, but I'm absolutely loving it. It is dark academia vibes, which I absolutely love, but it's very, very deep so far, and I really, really enjoy it. It speaks to a lot of themes on race, a lot of themes on colonialism and things like that. And so it is really, really good so far. R.F. Kuang is an author that I have been interested in for a very long time. And this is the first thing that I have read by her. I own the first book of the Poppy War trilogy. It's actually right over here, but I haven't read that one yet. And her new book, Yellow Face, which just came out, I am really, really excited about. And so I kind of already knew that I was going to like R.F. Kuang, and I am loving it. I'm loving it so far. Her writing is amazing. It is fantastic. One of the things that I keep seeing about this book is how thoroughly researched it is, and it definitely is, because it's fiction, but it almost reads like nonfiction. It's very, very good, and so I am very excited about getting farther into this. Okay, I have moved with the light once again. Hopefully our next video works out way better than this one, because this was a bad spot to pick, apparently. So the next book that I want to get to in June is actually one that I am most of the way through already, and that is the Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. This is an essay collection by John Green. I am already most of the way through it. You can see I only have this much left. It is phenomenal. I am loving this one so much. This is an essay collection by John Green where he just talks about life, talks about aspects of humanity and our culture in today's day and age. And he kind of just, so the essays are like just little snippets of life. He'll talk about like one thing. He'll pick one thing to write about. There have been essays in here on things as simple as Dr. Pepper. There have been essays on some famous cave paintings. There's an essay right here on velociraptors. And so he just kind of just picks, you know, topics related to humanity or human civilization, and then he talks about it, and it is extremely, extremely thought-provoking. He goes really in depth, very, very thought-provoking. I am loving this so far. I am nearly through it, but I went ahead and put it in this TBR video because I will be finishing this in June, and I am absolutely just loving this. It's amazing. One of my goals for the rest of this year is to try to keep on continuing reading series that I have already started. I am terrible at starting a series and then starting another one and then starting another one and never finishing any of them. So I'm going to try to each month read at least one book in a series that I have started, but that I still need to finish. The one that I picked for June is A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. This is the second book in the Shades of Magic series. I read A Darker Shade of Magic, I think it was earlier this year. Honestly, it may have been the end of last year. I'm not sure, but I think it was earlier this year, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic. I read it and immediately bought the other two books in the series and then never read them. And so this is one that I am very excited about. I need to get to, and so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. The first book was phenomenal. It's fantasy, and it deals with different Londons. So it's kind of like alternate dimension-ish kind of thing. And our central character can travel between the different Londons. He can travel through them. And it was a fascinating story, very interesting. To be honest, I may need to look at a recap before I start this next one. I remember most of it, but it has been a little bit, and so I may need to do a recap on that one. But I am very excited to start this next one. Also, I cannot even tell y'all how much I love the covers on these. The black and the red, and it's just gorgeous. I love it so much. So I am very, very excited to get to this one. The next book that I want to read in June is one that was actually suggested to me by my sister. I was book shopping with her one day. She picked this one up, read it, said it was phenomenal, immediately told me I had to read it. And when we picked it up, or when she picked it up, I had not really seen anything about this book anywhere. I didn't know much about it. I didn't have any information on it. And since then, I have seen it coming up more on Book Talk and BookTube and things like that. I think probably because the sequel recently came out. But that book is This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. I am very excited about this one. This one, I believe, is Persian inspired fantasy. I love Middle Eastern fantasy. I'm very excited about this one. I honestly don't know much about it, except that my sister told me that it was really, really good and that I should read it. And so I said, okay, so I'm going to do that. But it sounds great. The blurb on the back says it's a story of clashing empires, forbidden romance, and a long forgotten queen. And that's all you need to tell me. I am sold. So very excited to read This Woven Kingdom. And then I'll check out the sequel if I enjoy it. The next book on my June TBR is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I love Emily Henry, and this is her latest release. I have been super, super excited to read this book. And even though I think it came out maybe a month or two ago now, I'm not sure. I have been saving it for summer because this seems like absolutely a phenomenal summer vibes summer read. I'm very, very excited. Like I said, I love Emily Henry. I read Book Lovers last year. Absolutely adored it. Thought it was phenomenal. Then I read Beach Read at the beginning of this year and thought that that one was even better. So I am super, super excited for this new release by her. This one is a second chance romance. The main couple in this book, they have been together for a while, but they've actually broken up. And their friend group doesn't know this. And so they go on vacation, I think, with their friend group, and they're trying to pretend like they're still together because they don't want to upset their friends. At least that's what I think that this is. So I am very, very, very excited. Also, it's a signed copy. I love it. It's signed. Very happy. So I am super, super, super excited to get to Happy Place by Emily Henry. One thing that I have been trying to do this year is a read it or unhaul it challenge. You guys can see a little bit of my bookshelves behind you. These are my two main bookcases here. And I love reading books. I love collecting books. And I have honestly only read about half of the books that I own and are here on these shelves. So at the beginning of this year, I took this little jar and on these little slips of paper, I wrote down the titles of all the books that I own but have not read yet. And I put them in here, and I have been trying to pick a book and either read it and love it, or if I'm not gonna read it, just go ahead and donate it, give it to somebody else. My neighborhood has a little free library by our pool, so I've put some in there and just try to make it through some of the books that I already own. So what I'm going to do, and also not every book on here that I haven't read is in this jar because I did this at the beginning of the year and I have definitely bought books since then. So not everything is on here, but I figured that's okay. I clearly have plenty to get through, and I will add the rest of them in. I'll do a new jar next year, at the beginning of next year. So I'm allowing myself one put back. So if I draw one and just absolutely do not want to think about that one right now, then I will let myself draw another one. But then that second one I have to either read or unhaul if I know I'm not going to read it, or maybe I'll just start it, and we'll just see where it goes. All right, I'm gonna draw for the month of June, and I'm not looking. Okay, I got one. Let's see what it is. If I can open it. Oh, okay. So it says, After the King. Oh, I don't know if y'all can see that. It says, After the King. This is a short story collection that I have had on my shelf for probably almost a decade now. I'm not even kidding. It should be right over here. Yes, it is. It's right here. Let me grab it real quick. Okay, I went ahead and grabbed it. And so this is a short story collection. It says stories in honor of J.R.R. Tolkien. I love Tolkien. I have been obsessed with Tolkien for a very, very, very long time. You can't see it from this camera angle, but the shelf above this one, like almost the entire shelf, is all of my Tolkien books. I have a couple different editions of a few different things. And I love Tolkien, and everything he's ever written is some of my favorite stuff. And so I do not even remember where I found this. It was probably at a used bookstore, but it is short stories by various fantasy authors. I think kind of after the style of Tolkien's work. Yes, original fantasy in the Tolkien manner. And there are some pretty well-known sci-fi fantasy authors that have contributed to this collection. Terry Pratchett, Peter S. Beagle. Let me see if there's any other names that I recognize. Patricia McKillip. So there are several very, very well-known authors that have contributed to this one. So I'm actually excited about this. I'm not gonna put it back. I will stick with this one, and we'll see how I enjoy it. Not quite sure. It's been sitting on my shelf, like I said, for several years, and I've never gotten around to picking it up. So we'll see how I end up liking it. All right, guys, so that is it for today's video. Here is my June TBR. I'm actually really, really excited about this. Yeah, pretty much all these books I'm very, very excited about. They have been on my just kind of general TBR for quite a while, so I am very, very excited about getting to them, and I will keep you updated. I'm hoping to maybe start doing some like weekly reading vlog kind of things, so we'll see if that actually happens, but I will definitely have a monthly wrap up where we will talk about all of these, and I'm very excited. Thank you for watching, and welcome to my channel. We'll only get better from here. So thank you for watching my first video. Thank you for sticking around, and I am excited to see what comes of it. I'll see you next time. Bye.